No word on Aaron Rodgers' playing status. I think the big curiosity is, what was he taking at halftime? What was the pain medicine that he took? Because now we're analyzing his post-game interview with Michelle Tafoya, then when he met with the media. I don't know what he was hopped up on. I'm assuming he was given something. I don't know what, in the moment, what can you take that doesn't affect your performance, but also will give you some relief there? I have no idea. But am I surprised that Aaron Rodgers was on something? No, not at all. If he had if it's a sprain, a bruise, a partial tear, I'm going to guess that, get me through the second half here. Yeah, McLevin.
That was one poll option. If you're the Packers, would you play Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings, assuming that it's some sort of bruise? Because I think a lot of us would just sit him.
I would. Because he's not getting better, but is rest going to make you better, healthier? That's what I would want to know. I know it's the Vikings. It's a divisional game. It's important, and every game matters when, these two facing each other and what's going to happen the rest of the regular season. I get all of that, but, man, I got to look at this big picture, and that is the rest of this season. Certainly with that new contract he signed as well, I would sit him. Yes, Paulie.
I'm going opposite. I think you leave it in Aaron Rodgers' hands and let him play, encourage him to play. They can't afford losses. His last two healthy seasons, they were 10-6. That means that's the best they could do with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Last year, he needed to basically go 7-0 down the to get them into playoffs. They can't afford any losses. And at his age, 35, 36, he can't take another season of, I'll pace myself this year and hope we get to the playoffs.
But I don't want him limping the entire regular season. If I know that he can be 100% again, then I would rest him.
But look how good he was last week against a pretty good defense, limping. He is that good. They have no team without him. They don't go.
But the difference is the Vikings didn't have two starters who sat out all of training camp and the preseason. So you had the number 1 draft pick, Roquan Smith, and then you traded for Khalil Mack. Those guys were gassed in the second half. And as a result, Rodgers went to a little bit quicker pace there, and I think that's what helped him. He wasn't sitting back in the pocket.
Maybe go with that pace against a great defense here because they can't afford a couple losses.
I can't have him play just to have him play against the Vikings if he's not 100% here. Plus, then you get into bad habits. You're going to be throwing off a leg. You're not going to put pressure on the other leg. It just, he can't get out of the pocket. If he does get out of the pocket, is he going to try to do something more than what you want him to do in this condition? But I'd like to know exactly what he has before you speculate whether he should be playing or not. Yes,
Isn't it also possible, though, just throwing this out there, that maybe the getting carted off the field and all that stuff was just a little more dramatic than what the injury actually was? I mean, I'm not saying that it was his call to do that, but I mean, it's like a precautionary thing that you look at, but it's not like we have in the video. I think we made a little bit too much of the video. It's not like his knee bent backwards or anything. A big man landed on it. I mean, that's all that happened in that video, and it hurt his knee. It bruised his knee, or maybe it sprained his knee. But I think maybe we're all looking at, there he goes. He's getting carted off the field, and then he was playing limping the rest of the game, that maybe the injury's not nearly as serious as we think it is.
Well, why don't we have an update on the injury? Unless the Packers are just holding on. You're going to be coy with the Vikings here. The Vikings are preparing for Aaron Rodgers. Trust me. If they have to, you don't have to prepare for DeShone Kizer. If you prepare for Aaron Rodgers, you've prepared for DeShone Kizer. Yeah, Fritzy.
I think Seton made a good point. I got caught up in the whole cart thing, too, because you think of all these horrible injuries and paralysis and torn ACLs. If he would have just went into, the little tent thing that they have set up for a couple of minutes or anything other than being actually wheeled off, I don't think it would have been such a whole dramatic scene there.
Yeah, I just think that he just said, I got shotgun, and jumped in the front seat there. If he would have been lying down, then I think it would have been a little bit different. That's why I said when I saw him jump in the front seat, I think he probably thought the worst, that maybe there was a tear in there, probably got in there and said, what they do is they move it around, and they want to know where the pain is. And then if they're going to have a brace on him or whatever they were going to do with him, they at least knew what they were dealing with. Because I don't think you can send him out there if you weren't quite sure what he had. That was my feeling. Not quite sure.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.